We got more plates, more dates with what happens when you abuse steroids. Damn, that looks awful. Video for no, we said this one first. More plates, more dates. But anyway,
rob you of your physique. Not being on cycle does. LOL. Bro came off the GH and test too. On and off cycle. Damn, I knew he was juicing, but I didn't.
okay, wait.
A health crisis doesn't rob you of your physique. Not being on cycle does. LOL. Bro came off the GH and test too. On and off cycle. Damn, I knew he was juicing, but I didn't know he was juicing. Crying, laughing face.
Wow.
What's up, guys? Derek, moreplates.com. Today we're reacting to the wild before and after. This is not a transformation of muscle gain, but muscle loss this time. Gordon Ryan, he has gone from, you know, a
Jesus
Christ guy to getting yoked out of his goddamn tree, and then now going from yoked out of his goddamn tree to back to baseline seemingly. He is now looking like a regular athletic Joe. I don't know. What would you call that? So a lot of people,
I mean, like a moderately, like he looks kind of like me,
like Hercules, and here he is in the after, looking like an average guy that goes to the gym sometimes. His dried blood coming out of his nose, physique has no apparent like muscle separation, looking depressed and miserable. He is not in a good spot, and the situation is actually very, very unfortunate. But people are quick to jump on this guy, given how much trash talk he has done over the years.
Oof.
People are basically just saying this.
That does make it a little worse on him, doesn't it?
Get over it, and this is what happens when you get off gear. Like, some of the comments are wild, dude. What is happening to him? One of the top comments. Crazy health issues. Too much sauce. Rumor has it that he drank too much of Paulo Costa's secret juice and his body wasn't able for it. Side effects of steroids. However, what the truth actually is, he has had major gut issues for years. He mentioned it, like,
oh wow.
He says what it is on Joe Rogan Experience. Crazy stomach condition, super rare, causes a lot of pain. Majority of his training sessions, he's in pain. Majority of his competitive matches, he's in pain. The guy has tried everything under the sun to fix it. John Danaher explains it well on the podcast. A lot of the comments, though, are a health crisis doesn't rob you of your physique. Not being on cycle does. LOL. Bro came off the GH and test too. On and off cycle. Damn, I knew he was juicing, but I didn't know he was juicing. Crying, laughing face. His whole facial structure looks different. It's
yeah,
wild.
it really
By
does.
health crisis, you mean steroids? Laughing my ass off face. When the gym pump wears off, whoa, what happened to him? He's just like me for real. On versus off, health crisis equals no gear. So there are some people defending him in the comment section though, and saying what the, real gravity of the situation is from a health status perspective. And in addition to that, it's shocking how many people actually don't understand the difference between lighting, pump, vascular. Even to date, like, it just makes me think certain individuals have not gotten lean ever, or really know what goes into the trickery that is camera angles, lighting, etc. And of course, this is not the difference between just camera lighting, angles, pump, etc. But this guy, give him 2 weeks of training, muscle memory will kick in. See what everyone has to say. With some Coca-Cola, more like that juice will kick in. Steroids memory, more likely, yeah, muscle memory. Laughing my ass off. Laughing my ass off, crying fucking ×3, bro. I hope that's a joke. Muscle memory doesn't add 20 pounds of muscle in 2 weeks. No, but in 6 to 8 weeks it can. So, he has undergone
that's true.
health disaster, which we'll get into.
Okay, so, but
how he
was
lost
it
his physique
compounded? Like,
if you go back on his Instagram,
was it compounded by the use of steroids?
His stomach issues and whatnot, and
it seems pretty extreme that
attenuate it. And,
stomach issues, completely wrecked his training regimen, but health issues can be severe.
Somewhat recently, he had a situation where he had to pull out of a competition. Part 1, well, I guess I'm going to post this now since Flow Grappling specifically asked me not to post anything, etc., etc. Last Wednesday, after hard rounds for my peak, I got home, developed severe body aches and a migraine. I slept almost straight from Wednesday afternoon until Friday night.
Damn.
Running a fever while not being able to eat anything, sweating with chills. My fever subsided. Basically says all of his symptoms and whatnot, and he had to have IV fluids, and he lost roughly 15 pounds through this process. And this was 15 weeks ago. Everyone's shitting on him. And not everyone, by the way. This is like the haters and the people who otherwise do not appreciate his shit talking are quick to jump on the opportunity when he is down, of course. If his opponent posted the same exact caption, roles were reversed, what would Gordon say? Hey, remember when you were dogging on the Olympian for pulling out of her events? It's almost like you are the pro of it now. Interesting. Somebody said it sounds like fear to me. I'm not a Gordon hater, but I think there was something to be said about Pena fighting after his best friend died and you backing out for a tummy ache. He goes on to elaborate further in another post when he says at length, you know, what his issues are, why he can't compete, etc. But things kind of spiral out of control from there. And he ends up hospitalized, having to undergo significant exposure to antibiotics, which is unfortunate because that's actually, if I recall correctly, what got his stomach into the state it was in initially, where it was kind of like, never the same. Antibiotics are going to wipe out.
I've never, and maybe I just am not as perceptive to my stomach. I feel like I've been fairly active since I lost a bunch of weight when I was a teenager and have maintained a somewhat healthy physique. I've never had antibiotics just completely wreck my body like that. Like, I don't know if that's just a me genetics thing or like an idea that's passed around, and so somebody hears it and they're like, oh man, if I take antibiotics it's gonna wreck my shit, and then they take antibiotics and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy and wrecks their shit, like a anti-placebo or a reverse placebo effect. I guess placebo is neutral, is not good or bad. Anyway, I just, or maybe I just haven't noticed. Anytime I've ever had to take antibiotics, and I had to take a long round of antibiotics because my teeth are so messed up, and I felt more incapacitated from the tooth pain and the abscess than I did from the antibiotics. So I don't know, maybe that's just I'm gauging it against the wrong thing, or
your good bacteria, quote unquote, and your bad bacteria. So you just essentially are nuking your gut microbiome when you take this stuff. And not everyone can tolerate it the same, and some people don't necessarily easily get back to a baseline that is representative of a
I should have just waited. So yeah, I guess I just get back to baseline easier.
Good, healthy, functioning gut microbiome, and end up with an array of autoimmune issues, an array of GI distress issues,
That
imbalances,
sucks.
even in like mood regulation. Even serotonin is one of the main things highly concentrated in the gut. Like, there are actual neurological cascades that are impeded too, just by bad gut health. Like, it's fucking crazy how much stuff is regulated by your gut, even in your brain and the rest of your body. So it's all connected. And
well, it is where we get our
been,
fuel,
like
so
I
like
said,
it makes
undergoing
sense.
significant care to try and fix his issues, and having to undergo a bout of like heavy antibiotic therapy. Like, you can just imagine how much that would fucking suck for a guy who literally got into this spot from antibiotics, spent years trying to fix it, and then had an issue where he was forced to take antibiotics again.
Yeah,
So
but what's he
mentions
supposed to
here,
do?
Not sure when I'll be competing again. When I got back from my Abu Dhabi trip, I came down with severe case of strep throat, which ended with me in the hospital because my throat swelled shut. Doctors also couldn't figure out how to cure it, since no one ever fails penicillin for a strep infection. In all, I did 7 days of amoxicillin, and within a day my throat was back to square one. Then I did 10 days of penicillin, and within 2 days off I was in the hospital with my throat swollen shut. In the hospital, they gave me a shot of penicillin and another 10 days of penicillin, which I failed. Then I switched to 14 days of clindamycin, which worked. So all in all, I was on over 40 days of antibiotics straight, plus a shot of penicillin. During this time, I was contagious, and everyone were in big camps, so I couldn't even go to training in fear I would infect them as well. In addition, my ears were in so much pain from my throat that I couldn't elevate my heart rate at all without having them want to explode and getting a pounding headache. So I've been completely inactive for a longer time than I ever have since I started training. As expected, my stomach has relapsed pretty bad, and
I'm sitting here thinking, and like the whole point of me reacting to videos is to get my thoughts. Why do people feel the need to do that on social media? Maybe that's just an old man me thing, but he's like older than me. So like, if you're sick, take care of yourself. Like, in the sense that, like, don't worry about posting it on social media. And I get that he's like a public figure, so he feels the need to like explain to people. But like, do you ever see? And I could be wrong. I don't follow Tom Hanks on Twitter or even know if he has a Twitter or an Instagram. But like, does he do that? Does he like? Oh man, I couldn't be in this movie because I had to take so many antibiotics, and I don't know. I don't know this dude. If he is a massive shit talker, I don't really feel bad for him that people are like dogging on him when he's in his time of need. Kind of teaches him to be a more respectful person. Not saying he deserves it. Just saying, like, maybe that is a lesson he could learn from it, is to be a more respectful person, and he won't get dogged on. And it's not just haters, because like some of those weren't even people being like, man, fuck this guy, fuck. Like, it was just people being like, yeah, I don't really care, but it seems kind of weird that he's acting like this. Anyway.
Nausea and lack of appetite have reappeared, so I'll need to deal with that. But first, I'm headed into surgery today for a tonsillectomy to fix my severely deviated septum. Just wanted to update everyone, blah, blah, blah. Nicky Rock, suffer in silence. Inquisitive face, you are soft, pointing at you. Taking the opportunity here to just jump on him. Next post, he goes into it further. Mission accomplished.
Okay, but like, maybe I'm a terrible person, but I don't really see the issue with that. Like, if the idea before was that he's this massive shit talker and he's a fighter, and I actually don't know anything about this guy. I'm just reacting to fucking people. Andrew Tate, the top G. Are you sure? Are you sure about that? We haven't gotten to his. We'll get to his in a minute. Okay. Hannah loves Starbucks. What's your favorite Starbucks drink? I need to charge that. I'm not gonna worry about it. Welcome, by the way.
You guys, as soon as I'm healthy, and he is here. Eating and drinking hasn't been too easy.
The pink drink, the like dragon fruit one. I have no idea what that one's called. I think I've had it before. I don't drink a lot of Starbucks, to be honest.
He is working with a clinic to restore himself as quick as possible.
Who is this guy? What is his name? I did not catch his name.
This, which is kind of wild.
Look at this.
Transparent.
Wow.
Goes for showing yourself at your worst. He says, everyone posts their best. Be confident enough to post your worst. This post is simply to update everyone on my current athletic status. I'm not.
And make sure your face looks as depressing as possible. I need to. Gordon loves jujitsu. Okay.
For sympathy or help, and in fact would prefer if you lose faith in me so I can prove you wrong like I always do. The last time I was this size, 201 pounds, 20 plus pounds this week, I was 21 years old. When I got the strep in early March, my ears became so inflamed that every time I elevated my heart rate, felt like my head was gonna explode. Spoke with my doctors, I got the silicone stents taken out of my nose, and I'm told I can't start lifting for another 3 weeks and training for roughly 2 months. That will be 3 months of zero activity and 5 months of no training, coupled with the fact that over
Gonna be honest, I'm starting to get disappointed. I was really hoping this was a story kind of like the Liver King story about dude lost all his physique because he wasn't juicing. And it's just well, he's been going through lots of medical stuff, and it's not as exciting.
My stomach,
it's kind of just funny that people are dogging on him because he thought he was a hard ass.
An athlete is on getting healthy and helping my teammates / students prepare for matches. No matter how ill I've been, there's nothing worse than not being there to help them prepare. My goal in the sport is simple: double golden ADCC until I'm 40 and have more medals than Buchecha has world titles. That being said, for 5 years now, my body, specifically my immune system and stomach, have been barely cooperating with this plan. Given the time I've missed to nurse my pathetic body back to health, it may be difficult long-term to stay ahead of the curve I was once far ahead of. I have done so thus far and have no intention of letting those down to depend on me. The goal isn't to be in the mix, having fun and winning. That's what's fun for me. I will attempt to and succeed at staying on top until my body quits on me completely. Doctor prescribed antibiotics are as much a gift as they are a curse. They've saved my life a fair amount of times, yet also ruined it. Antibiotics have done my body more harm than anything else in my life. Thank you for being patient with my competition schedule. When I come back, I will be back. So the completely deteriorated physique triggers the steroid comments, as you'd expect. Ha ha ha, take notes, kids. This is what happens when you try to fake your way to the top and pump your body full of steroids. You're finished, kid. Give up now. The road is too tough back. You'll never be the same again. There's no way you can come back and be healthy, let alone be competitive in your sport, which has already passed you by. Give up. It's your only choice. Playing into it seemingly.
I mean, how old is he? Because that might be a fair thing to say.
Suffer in silence, crying laughing face. My friend, you have to stop taking steroids. They are destroying you. Just as simple as that. Bro's never faced adversity in his life, and it's showing in the amount of shit posts since he had strep throat and a deviated septum. Chill. No PEDs. Drastic change. Wrong. Roids have done your body more harm than anything else. It's just sad you refuse to admit so. And Nicky Rod coming in hot with the comment, you're never great if you need steroids to win. Hashtag Natty King. Hectic, bro. You can just imagine Gordon steamed out of his goddamn tree at home reading this shit. So personally, like, I can understand why the layman would just see a crazy before and after like this and be like, Gordon Ryan off the Sazul transformation. It's like, well, it's a clear on versus off cycle scenario, and this is why. But it's like the likelihood this guy has come off of everything or it's even worked its way out of his system entirely. If anything, it would be beneficial to try and stave off catabolism in such a deprived state, being like maintaining the course, not necessarily like blasting your face off, but staying on your therapeutic replacement at minimum, I would think would be a worthwhile maintenance routine. Like, the guy has no ability to train, no ability to exert himself significantly. Like, to think that going from on cycle to, you know what, I just got like completely decimated by antibiotics, can't eat, can't train. Now is the time to come off. Like, crashing your hormones in that state of health would be one of the worst things you could do potentially. So I would be shocked if this guy actually like cycled off in response to this, unless there was things in his protocol that involved like significant GI distress related compounds, like oral anabolic agents. Like, if you're on like a fucking Anadrol, then yeah, I could see you coming off of that. But if he's on a baseline of test, like, I can imagine at minimum that is in place still in order to not completely fall apart. And what a lot of people don't realize is the first guy who commented is pretty on point, where he said, give him 2 weeks of training, muscle memory will kick in. It's wild because even with the transparency of social media and the amount of content,
muscle memory is fucking crazy
over the years about what really goes into transformations and before and afters and whatnot, it's still shocking to me how many people don't realize how impactful glycogen stores being topped out, vascularity from even being in a warm environment and in the gym and having just trained, pump in the muscle from having just actually worked it out, having adequate nutrition, not being dehydrated to hell, lighting, angles, like all this shit is so impactful. You could literally make yourself look like you barely lift versus you're like pretty fucking jacked in a matter of 5 minutes if you really wanted to. Now, I'm not asserting that that is what you're seeing here whatsoever. However, I guarantee this guy is on point, that if he was back in the swing of things and full tilt, able to eat all his meals, was getting his sleep, hydrated adequately, enough carbs, blah, blah, on his shit still, taking the right gear, he would get all of this back within short order. And this is not to say that I think he's natty here. Like, I think he is still
okay, there we go. That's what I was waiting
on. He is highlighting the gravity of his situation and making it look purposefully like as severe as it is, like reflecting the situation, but he is not trying to look good here. He is not putting himself in the best light possible to actually reflect what his physique and body composition actually is. I guarantee you, if this guy was able to eat his meals and actually get hydrated adequately and top out the glycogen stores and go get, you know, a few bicep curls in and go under heavy downlighting, he would look like he's gained back like half of this already. And then from there, getting back in the gym, you know, gaining back some of that weight, blah, blah, blah. Like, it is not going to be that hard for him to get back where he was. And a lot of this is just angles, lighting, pump, etc. at the end of the day. Now, on the scale, he has lost a shit ton of temporary weight. That is absolutely the case, but this is not representative of, like, he's not doing himself justice by showing this. This is like the worst of the worst for him, with the most severe debilitated state that he's been in for a while. But even if you go back, like, it's not like it's hard to find shots of him where he is standing there and looks, you know, smaller than he does in like peak downlit pumped angled shots. Like, you could go find him just standing in like a fucking t-shirt or a stringer here, and it looks a lot less impressive than it might have otherwise looked in, you know, the shot where he looks like he's fucking 260 and ready to step on an Olympia stage. People really need to understand what goes into the fitness industry and stop being misled by angles, lighting, shit like that. And it's hard to really adequately elucidate like how severe of a difference this can be just by manipulations. But anyways, the guy is down a lot of temporary weight, and I'm certain some of it is muscle, but I do think he's going to get back in short order once he's able to recover. And it's tough to see him in this state in an athlete that otherwise is like, you know, so gifted. It's shitty for somebody to have to undergo this, or anybody to have to undergo this for that matter. One thing we all do, or at least, you know, I try to check myself on as much as I can, is not taking a functioning and healthy body for granted, because I do have close friends and know lots of people at this point, friends of friends, people who follow my channel that I've had to reach out to me, patients at Merrick Health, like people that have dealt with debilitating issues that you and I may otherwise take for granted. And when I see comments that are like, oh, it's just a stomach ache, bro, just get over it, for, you know, Gordon's situation, like, it's definitely not something you can just chalk up to, you know, lack of willpower or just suck it up, princess. Autoimmune issues and gut dysbiosis and significant gut microbiome dysregulation, like, this stuff is so impactful on systems.
Yeah, but like, okay, I get that you're compassionate about that, but like, understand where that energy's coming from, I guess.
Systemic health at such a high level that it's hard to really put into words how much it can fuck up your life if you have not experienced it. And I personally, like, have only seen it firsthand to even be able to relay what I imagine it's like, and it looks fucking bad. Like, I've seen, you know, like, even one of my best friends, a toddler, he has a brutal gut microbiome issue caused by the mom in pregnancy exposing herself to antibiotics, coincidentally. And that kid is dealing with significant ramifications that, and I've seen it completely not only really hurt the quality of life of the kid, where he can barely eat anything and he's like literally trying to scratch his face off all the time, but also the parents having to monitor him like crazy, have like a fucking EpiPen on hand in case the kid starts having a reaction and is about to die. Like, it's wild what they have to deal with. And obviously in adulthood, you know, you have more ability to, you know, seek out help, research, etc., and he has great people in his camp that are looking after him, which is great. But still, like, I can't imagine like how much it would fucking suck to be a, you know, prodigy athlete and have to deal with this kind of stuff, you know, holding you back. Like, it must feel very frustrating, to say the least. And also, I don't think should be overlooked the gravity of impact it could have on your ability to compete or do anything, even just like function in day-to-day life. Like, I've seen people like literally bedridden just from gut issues. Like, it's wild what actually goes into some of this stuff. So don't take it for granted, and, you know, hopefully he makes a recovery in short order, because, you know, that's a vicious circle, just fucking shitty situation where it's like you have a major issue that you then need to take antibiotics for, but you know the antibiotics are what fucked you up for your gut issues in the first place, so you do it.
Have we reached the repetitive part of the video? Is that what's happened?
So he gets the most scrutiny, but also
it is 20 plus minutes, dude. It's hard to drag this out.
And he does a lot of shit talking, but he's not the only guy who takes gear, and a lot of these guys on gear are a lot of gear in BJJ, and he is the poster boy for BJJ in many ways, I guess. So he gets the most scrutiny, but also the most praise simultaneously, and he does a lot of shit talking, but he's not the only guy who takes gear. And a lot of these guys on gear are not just randomly getting sidelined by debilitating gut issues, and there's a reason, because it's not the fucking gear. Maybe it could dysregulate your immune system somewhat. There is literature that does support that, but it's not going to be something that makes or breaks or gets him in versus out of this situation. And this situation he's in right now has like little to nothing to do with gear. For people to be like, he came off, this is why, or this is why his physique is, you know, deteriorated so significantly. You could have a guy who's still on gear and make him look like shit pretty easily just by depriving him of food, making him not work out, having him be dehydrated, getting shitty sleep. Like, you are still going to suffer. You might.
Okay, yeah, you could, but wouldn't that also happen if someone did, like, okay, hypothetical situation, dude isn't suffering massive gastrointestinal problems. Wouldn't that happen if, like, wouldn't they lose their physique and start to get you know, like, they would thin out and then they would start to get bloated?
Not lose the tissue permanently nearly as quickly, and you can offset catabolism quite significantly. But it's not something that is just going to keep you looking like Hercules when you're not putting in the time in the gym.
Well, yeah,
and eating
duh.
and training and drinking water and getting electrolytes in and your minerals
Duh.
and your vitamins. Like, it is still like the same principles that get you the physique even on gear. It's just it's easier and gives you a higher ceiling of potential.
Yeah, I had a roommate that he explained it. It was kind of interesting too. He explained that when he I guess he's doing that on purpose. When he used gear, that it made him feel like he had to work out. Was the whoa? What happened to my camera? How did I get on gameplay only? What? What is this? I must have kicked it by accident, but I am going to do that for a second. Because I can. We'll listen to him some more.
But to go to this, like, this is clearly illness related. It's not him, like, I decided to cycle off, so I lost like 50 fucking pounds. No. I would hope this guy did not, like, completely.
Are you
crash his
sure?
hormone
Or are
system
you just
simultaneously and coming off,
speculating?
that would be, two significant things you have to then deal with simultaneously. That would suck. But, like, I imagine he is still on gear. So for people to be like, he's off gear now, like, I'm pretty fucking sure he's not. I imagine he's not blasting his face off, but I highly doubt he has come off entirely. And, you'd be hard pressed to find another guy in BJJ who's dealing with an exact same situation. Like, oh, the gear abuse got you here. No, he's not unique in that he's taking 10 times the amount of every other athlete. Like, people who are gunning for him are probably going to be cranking even fucking harder than he is, realistically, because they have the incentive and the motive to push past what they deem to be, okay, well, this much gear got me to here. So obviously, if I want to take it to the next level, I probably got to push my shit a bit harder.
Well, and also to a certain point, like, the body is adaptive. So you start out taking X amount, you're going to have to increase that over time, depending on your own genetics and like ability to build tolerance. Oh yeah, I guess it would have helped to have that stay on my lap, because then I could switch through these a lot easier. Oh well.
This is where you find guys getting into situations with cardiovascular disease, kidney deterioration, even hepatotoxicity when, considering certain oral agents and whatnot, or even androgen abuse at a high level. That's where you get into that territory. And in bodybuilding, like, you often see the guys with the health issues from insane steroid abuse, or guys that were on the way up trying to take out the guys with better genetics who were more like, responsive to the shit they were taking and could get away with less. That's not to say that Gordon is on nothing or that he's on low dosages or anything, but at the end of the day, he's absolutely not the only guy abusing shit in the sport, and I do not think this is a result of, like, on versus off steroids or whatever. It would be insane if he actually was, like, off TRT entirely in order to somehow, like, accommodate his recovery for this shit. In my opinion, if anti-catabolism was of top of mind whatsoever. Anyways, shitty situation. Hopefully he makes a recovery, and I guarantee once he's fully recovered, he looks similar to this again in very, very short order. Just a matter of packing on that temporary weight that was lost, and handfuls of actual, like, contractile tissue loss, and then the multiple, like, dozens of pounds of, like, intracellular fucking temporary weight that is making you look a lot bigger than you are, because the muscle is mainly water at the end of the day. That kind of stuff is like dry muscle weight is different than, it's almost something to be not ignored entirely, but it is something that needs to be considered as how impactful just, like, the water composition of your physique, how much of a role that plays on how much you weigh and how much, like, real muscle there is versus not. So anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. All the comments help the algorithm. They're much appreciated. Like, subscribe, check out my blog, moreplacemoredates.com. Follow me on Instagram at moreplacemoredates, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, TikTok, Apple Podcasts. If you want to support the channel, you can check out anything I'm associated with in the video description below. My preventative medicine, hormone replacement therapy platform. If you want to get connected with high-level doctors who can keep you safe if you're somebody exposing yourself to this kind of stuff, or just oversee your health and optimize your biomarkers, quality of life, health status,
That's cool.
vitality,
That's cool.
etc., through natural means, but also pharmacology if warranted. You can check it out. Getting a non-judgmental doctor in your camp who understands this stuff at length and stays on top of the cutting edge literature is absolutely worthwhile for anybody, natural or enhanced, in my opinion. And anything else that supports me, or I think is valuable, and I use myself, and what have you, it's all in the video description below, and I will talk to you guys soon.
No. I was trying to pause it. Damn it.
A health crisis.
Okay, comments. Hiccups. What I imagine happens to my physique after not hitting my protein goal for a single day. As somebody with ulcerative colitis, I can't back up what Derek said enough, especially with gut biome issues. I can personally attest to just how debilitating it is. I feel for this guy. Almost 8 months ago, I started getting heart palpitations and panic attacks in the gym. It continued for weeks with no improvement. I changed my diet, quit nicotine, quit caffeine, quit drinking alcohol at all. Even though I only drank maybe a drink or two a week, I got to the point in January of this year that I couldn't go to the gym at all. Finally, in May, I was diagnosed with dysautonomia, which means my sympathetic nervous system is in overdrive. I've gone from being in the gym 5 to 6 days a week, playing sports, riding jet skis, etc., to barely being able to walk more than 100 feet without heart rate spiking, extreme dizziness, blood pressure spiking, extreme anxiety, and feel like I'm going to pass out. I wouldn't wish this on anyone. Come on. Was that necessary? You couldn't have just not that person, but like the algorithm couldn't have just been like, there's no need to show it. I am just recovering from a gut issue. It really does wreck your life. Hope this guy recovers. Nothing is more valuable than your health. I got a close friend with diverticulitis, so I absolutely agree with about watching how debilitating gut issues can be. This video upped my respect for you even more, bro. I spent 10 days in the hospital and lost about 30 pounds. I totally believe that infection could do that to somebody, especially as his was very, very bad. I can't speak to the steroid accusations, but regardless, I really feel for this guy. I'm going through some horrible health problems myself. My collarbone broke into 3 pieces 3 months ago. I was advised not to get surgery, also would be too expensive. Wow. The healing process was going well until it split again a month later out of nowhere. Damn. Now it's been 3 months, and my doctor is saying that it's a malunion, meaning the bone is healed but in a way that is not functional and out of place. I'm in pain almost 24/7 and barely leave the house except for doctor's appointments. I've been mostly sitting and laying in bed for the last 2 months and lost about 30 pounds of muscle as a result and completely depleted and unhealthy. It's been more damaging to my mental health, however. Well, as I was active in sports, I completely lost my social life as a result. I'm trying to get surgery in the next couple of weeks, which could change my life and get me feeling back to normal. Anyways, I understand health problems now, and that I don't know what's wrong with me, and that some things are out of our control and completely random, which is tough and come to terms with. I've been through some hard times, and I've gone through what I've gone through in the past 3 months is by far the hardest thing I've had to endure. I barely remember what it feels like to live without sharp pain all the time, but knowing surgery can make me feel better is the only thing keeping me going. For anyone going through medical issues, it feels like no one understands what you're going through, but we're in this together. Dude went from Chad Lumberjack to Apple support staff. I caught MRSA. I have a pretty good idea of what Ryan's going through. God be with you, man. Thank Christ for Derek. He's literally the only objective human being on the internet that can properly articulate gear versus no gear. If gear use causes these debilitating stomach issues, I don't think that's. It's like the second or third time I've seen that implication. I don't remember that being implied at all. Very few people would be using it. Yeah. Apparently no one remembers how bad stomach bugs are, except for the 24 to 48 hours it affects them, and so many people are way too eager to jump on the Gordon is trash train. They don't use a single brain cell. Okay. This will be my TLDR. Because I don't know who this guy is. I know who More Plates More Dates is, and I like reacting to his content. If you are a massive shit talker and something bad happens to you, you and your supporters, because I don't even know if he cares or if he said anything, cannot act surprised when your detractors or other people that don't like you shit on you, because you kind of put that energy out there. And I mean, like, yeah, some people are gonna always shit on you no matter what, but if you walk around being a massive shit talker, people are gonna shit talk you when you get sick. People are gonna shit talk you when you're feeling down. That's kind of all I have to say about it. I hope he gets well. Yeah, that's because that's shitty. At first, I thought it was steroids. Knowing because of Derek's information that he sourced, that it is just a health concern. That sucks. I hope he gets better. I have not had to go through any like crazy debilitating health issues, so I've been very lucky. And I have tried to appreciate it, but I'll take Derek's advice and try to be more appreciative of a completely healthy, functioning body. What's next? Bye, Derek.